There was a time when carrying a British passport meant safety, respect, and access, but that time is gone. Today, UK citizens are walking into countries where the rules have changed and not in their favour. Arrests without cause, surveillance, wrongful detention, violent unrest, and governments that no longer offer protection. In some places, being British has gone from an advantage to a liability. These are the top 10 nations where UK citizens face new travel restrictions, and in many of them, the danger is very real. Number 10. Afghanistan. The UK government has issued one of its most serious travel warnings. Do not travel to Afghanistan under any circumstances. As of June 2025, the Foreign Office has made it clear the security situation is too volatile. Travel across the country is extremely dangerous, and border crossings may not even be open. For British nationals, the risk is not just theoretical. There is now an elevated threat of wrongful detention. If you're a UK citizen and you're being detained in Afghanistan, the British government may not be informed and they won't be able to help. There is no British embassy operating inside the country, and in-person support is not possible. Terrorist groups are active across Afghanistan, and UK nationals have been identified as targets for kidnapping and hostage-taking. Even those in the country for humanitarian or business purposes are not exempt. Foreign activities may be viewed as suspicious, and detentions can happen without clear reason. Even if you're properly registered with the local authorities, the risk remains. If you choose to travel to Afghanistan despite the official guidance, you are strongly advised to review your security plans, keep a low profile, and prepare for a situation where no outside assistance may be available.
We've seen the impact of dramatic funding cuts in Afghanistan over the past few months. More than 400 health centres have closed in the past 3 months. We've seen 400 nutrition sites closed also, depriving pregnant and nursing mothers and malnourished children of the treatment they need to live a healthy life and to ensure their future development. Now is not the time to step back.
Medical care is extremely limited, especially outside major cities like Kabul. Evacuation in a medical or security emergency is unlikely to be possible. Even beyond active war zones, danger takes a different shape, one that looks like law but punishes like a weapon. Because in the next country, your past online activity could be all it takes to land you behind bars. Number 9. Belarus. The UK government now advises against all travel to Belarus, and with good reason. British nationals could be detained for actions that wouldn't be crimes anywhere else, even for things said or done outside the country. If you've ever posted political opinions, supported opposition groups, or engaged with independent media, that could be enough. The Belarusian government has detained tens of thousands of people, including foreign nationals, over alleged links to opposition activity. Some of these individuals had no recent connection to Belarus at all. Even being near a protest, peaceful or not, has led to arrest, and detainees have faced poor conditions, limited legal access, and isolation from family. For UK Belarusian dual nationals, the situation is even more dangerous. Belarus does not recognize dual citizenship. That means if you're detained, the authorities will treat you as Belarusian only, refusing UK diplomatic support altogether. Surveillance is widespread. Foreigners are advised to reconsider bringing phones, laptops, or tablets into the country. Belarusian authorities have used information found on devices, including content created or saved outside Belarus, as grounds for arrest. If you're thinking of transiting through the airport with such material, think twice. The threat isn't limited to political arrests. Drug laws are harsh, and even carrying cannabis products in transit could lead to imprisonment. The FCDO has specifically warned that airport searches can result in arrest, even if you're just passing through. And in case of conflict escalation, help will be minimal. The UK government has already stated that if war spills into Belarus from Ukraine, its ability to assist citizens will be severely limited. But if you think state control is the only threat, think again, because in the next country, there's barely a state at all, and the danger comes from everyone else. Number 8. Haiti. The UK government has issued an urgent warning for citizens considering traveling to Haiti. The security situation is so volatile that if something goes wrong, you'll have to seek help from the UK diplomatic mission in the Dominican Republic, if you can even reach it. Since early 2024, Haiti has spiraled into near-complete chaos. Crimes involving firearms are not rare and have become the norm. Armed robberies, carjackings, assaults and kidnappings happen regularly, in broad daylight, and often without warning. The majority of kidnappings are for ransom. Victims, including foreign UK nationals, have been injured or killed. The ransom demands can reach into the tens of thousands of dollars. Port-au-Prince, the capital, is extremely dangerous. The international airport is frequently surrounded by armed activity. Armed robbers are also known to occur in traffic, and lone drivers, particularly women, are often targeted. Even the US Embassy no longer allows its staff to travel without armored vehicles and formal clearance. Even foreign government staff in Haiti are under strict movement restrictions. They cannot walk outdoors, cannot use public transportation or taxis, cannot visit banks or ATMs, and are banned from traveling at night entirely. Every trip requires approval and armed security. And while some nations are collapsing under chaos, others are tightening their grip, because in the next country, just having British ties could be enough to disappear. Number 7. Iran. As of June 2025, British nationals and especially British-Iranian dual nationals are at a significant risk of being arrested, interrogated, or detained without warning. Iranian authorities have previously detained individuals based solely on their connection to the UK. That includes tourists, students, journalists, and people visiting family. In many cases, no charges were ever proven, and some individuals were held for years. The situation has become even more dangerous following military strikes between Israel and Iran. Civil and military sites across major cities have been hit, and the Israeli Defense Forces have issued evacuation warnings for parts of Iran.
People here in Tehran understand that the situation for them could be dangerous, and many have actually left the city. And this comes as the Iranians are vowing to fight on. The supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, he came out and said that Iran and the Iranian nation would never surrender. Of course, what the Iranians have been doing is, in the face of the airstrikes that have been coming in, have been lobbing their missiles towards Israeli territory.
In response, Iran has launched its own military actions, and the situation on the ground is unstable and prone to escalation. Iranian airspace is closed, and travel by land is risky. Border crossings may shut down with no notice, and several neighboring countries require additional paperwork for British nationals, especially during emergencies. The UK government cannot provide in-person help in Iran. In the event of detention, there is little they can do, especially if you hold dual nationality. Iranian authorities do not recognize dual citizenship, and consular access is regularly denied. British Iranian citizens detained in the past were held without evidence, denied legal access, and in some cases subjected to psychological mistreatment. And if Iran raised the stakes for dual nationals, the next country tightens the grip even more. Number 6. Russia. What sets Russia apart from the rest isn't just the war, it's how it treats people tied to the West. British citizens, especially dual nationals or those with UK connections, are at serious risk of being harassed, interrogated, or detained for no clear reason.
This was the moment police seized Navalny's wife, Yulia. Other close allies were also arrested. Police beat protesters with batons, bundled them into police vans. They chanted freedom for Navalny, but also Putin is a thief and disgrace.
Security services in Russia have arrested foreign nationals, including journalists, students, and travelers, on charges like espionage or threatening national security without credible evidence. If you're dual British-Russian, your UK citizenship means nothing once you enter. Russian authorities will treat you as Russian only, and consular access can be denied entirely. This has happened repeatedly, and once detained, there is no guarantee of a fair trial, legal support, or even communication with the outside world. Social media use, even from before your trip, can be grounds for investigation. Posts criticizing the Russian government, its military, or even sharing content supportive of Ukraine have resulted in arrests. Foreign nationals have been caught in these crackdowns alongside Russian citizens. Even the laws are designed for control. Russia has labeled the LGBTQ+ community as extremist. Displaying a rainbow flag or even speaking about LGBTQ+ rights is now criminalized. Supporting certain organizations, working with foreign media, or even sharing information tied to NGOs can fall under Russia's treason laws. This is a country where legal norms don't apply, and where foreign nationals, especially those with ties to countries like the UK, can be treated as bargaining chips. Arrests, harassment, intimidation, and forced conscription of dual nationals have all happened, and none of it requires you to break a law as you'd understand it. Some governments have enforced danger through control, but others lose control entirely, and that's when the threat becomes truly unpredictable. Number 5. South Sudan. The UK government's warning against travel to South Sudan is a reflection of how fast things can fall apart, and how little anyone can do once they do. The country is in a state of chronic armed conflict, driven by political and ethnic rivalries that erupt without warning. Weapons are widespread among civilians. Cattle raids in rural areas routinely lead to violent clashes, and those conflicts often spill into populated zones. In the capital, Juba, you'll find no safety bubble. Carjackings, armed robberies, ambushes, and shootings are common, even in broad daylight. Foreign nationals, including aid workers and diplomats, have been victims of kidnappings and physical mistreatment. The environment is so unstable that even embassy staff are banned from walking outside at night and must travel in armored vehicles for nearly all movements. Any official travel beyond the city requires strict clearance, backup support, and medical contingency plans. If airports shut down, as they've done before during regional unrest, or roads are blocked, you could be trapped inside a conflict zone. And if that happens, you're on your own. The UK government has already stated it cannot provide in-person help, and there's no evacuation plan in place. Even basic activities carry risk. Reporting or photographing in public without government approval is illegal, and journalists are regularly mistreated, detained, or worse. Some have been killed simply for covering the conflict. Internet blackouts, gasoline shortages, and limited medical care only add to the chaos. Hospitals often lack supplies, and emergency response is unreliable at best. And just when it seems like it couldn't get any worse, UK citizens face instability and the total absence of law, order, or protection in the next country. Number 4. Syria. The situation in Syria has become increasingly unstable and has reached post-state levels. Since the fall of the Assad regime in December 2024, control of the country has fractured. Much of Syria is now under the control of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a group that is classified as a terrorist organization. Armed groups run large portions of the country, and no part of Syria is considered safe. Since the beginning of the civil war in 2011, Syria has seen restless violence, and now the risk is even higher. Bombings, improvised explosive devices, targeted assassinations, and aerial attacks continue across civilian zones. Infrastructures like hospitals, schools, and power grids have been destroyed, and entire cities are in ruins. For foreign nationals, the danger is tenfold. Syria remains one of the world's top hotspots for hostage taking. British citizens and other foreigners have been abducted, wrongfully detained, and held for months or years without fair trial or access to legal help. Terrorist networks remain active across the country, including ISIS and Al-Qaeda affiliates. Foreigners accused of sympathizing, reporting on, or inadvertently supporting designated groups have faced harsh penalties, including prosecution abroad and long-term imprisonment. Number 3. Yemen.
The thousands and thousands of people that have, lost a leg, lost an arm, that have died because of the blockade, that's what's happening in Yemen. Sort of this collective punishment of an entire country.
The UK government has officially advised against all travel to Yemen, with no exceptions and no areas marked safe. This is due to unpredictable security conditions across the entire country. If you're a British national currently in Yemen, the advice is simple: leave immediately. There's no British embassy in operation. All UK diplomatic and consular staff have been withdrawn, and the embassy in Sana'a is suspended. That means there's no on-ground help and no evacuation plans available. If you're trying to leave, the UK government won't be able to help you with travel routes, departure points, or onward arrangements. You'll have to cover all costs yourself, including any transport, visas, accommodation, and insurance. If you choose to remain in Yemen, you're advised to reduce your movements within cities and across the country. Keep monitoring developments closely and follow any precautions listed in official guidance. And if Syria is a warning about what happens when a country falls apart, the next one proves there are places where there was never a chance to begin with. If you thought a trip to India was as simple as booking a ticket and grabbing your passport, think again. The UK government has quietly rolled out a series of sharp travel warnings where entire regions are now officially marked off limits. In Jammu and Kashmir, British nationals are being warned to avoid nearly everything except air travel to the city of Jammu. Even tourist favorites like Gulmarg and Pahalgam are now off the table due to ongoing threats of terrorist attacks. Violent protests and sudden military crackdowns have turned the region into a high-risk zone. And if you're caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, help from the British High Commission might not even be available. Further east, in Manipur, the warning levels shift to only if absolutely necessary. Ethnic violence has flared up repeatedly since 2023, and things escalated again in late 2024. Internet blackouts, surprise curfews, and street clashes have made travel unpredictable and dangerous. Insurgent groups known as Naxalites have made entire districts unstable. The targets may be police and officials, but travelers, especially foreign ones, aren't immune to the fallout. In the past 2 years alone, over 250 lives have been lost in these areas. Even Goa, India's party capital, isn't without warning signs. A string of violent incidents involving British tourists, including murder, has put authorities on edge against foreigners. While parts of South Asia are becoming increasingly unstable, the next region is already deep in crisis, where UK citizens are told to get out while they still can. Number 1. Israel. British travellers hoping to visit Israel are facing a rapidly shifting and increasingly restrictive landscape. As of June 2025, the UK's Foreign Office has issued its strongest warning yet, advising all travel to Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, citing unprecedented regional instability and safety risks. This warning comes amid escalating conflict across the Middle East. After Israeli strikes on Iran retaliated with missile and drone strikes, pushing Israel into a state of nationwide emergency declared on June 13. Airspace over Israel remains closed, and Ben Gurion Airport has been shut down. As a result, not only are direct flights out of the country suspended, but the only options for leaving may involve land border crossings to Jordan and Egypt, both of which can shut down without notice and only operating within limited hours. For UK citizens already in the region, the situation is volatile. The FCDO has pulled family members of embassy staff from both Tel Aviv and Jerusalem as a precaution. Although the British Embassy and Consulate continue offering essential services, support is extremely limited in areas where travel is strongly discouraged. The Israeli Ministry of Tourism has started coordinating exit plans for foreign visitors, asking travelers to fill out an online departure form. But with restrictions changing by the hour and commercial transport to border crossings only available depending on local alerts, there are no guarantees. For British citizens, travel is no longer just about visas and airports. It's about safety, survival, and knowing where your passport might work against you. The world has changed, and in these 10 countries, being from the UK now carries risks that go far beyond delayed flights or denied entry.